Hey there, friends. Thanks for joining me today. You know, one of the things that I think people struggle with most in general, whether it's plant-based diet or not, is losing weight. People want to lose weight, and this is such a foreign idea to me because I can't even imagine it eating plant-based. And that's no judgment to anybody else. That's just by going by my experience. Somebody recently asked me about weight loss and how mine went and if I plateaued at any particular point. And I got to thinking about it and I'm like, no, because looking back, number one, I really didn't need to lose weight when I converted to a plant-based diet. The truth is I honestly had no idea what I was doing, and I ate way too little and I got ridiculously underweight. Ridiculously underweight. But once again, that wasn't because I was trying to restrict myself. I just didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't eating enough food. But throughout the years, it really is probably the easiest way at 61 years old I've ever found to maintain weight and not go up and down. I was never really fat. I was a fat kid. But sometime, I think it was between 6th and 7th grade, I lost like 20 pounds, had a little bit of a growth spurt. And after that, I could get chubby and I would gain weight. And I was big in college. I was 245 pounds in college. Kind of chubby, but looked like a linebacker. But anyhow, I was more or less just normal, I didn't necessarily lose weight easily, but I never let myself get all that big. So I was always just probably losing 15, 20 pounds, 10 pounds here, 5 pounds there, sometimes 20, and then just putting it back on. But once I started eating like this, it was just like, man, this is a license to eat. And I think if you just really take a step back and stick to the basics, that is the best strategy you can take. I see so many things out there. There are plans, there are groups. There's influencers that run monthly groups on weight loss, and they get together and they need to talk and they do this and there's all this kind of stuff, and it's like, why? It's pretty straightforward. What do we eat on this lifestyle? Fruits, vegetables, greens, legumes, whole grains, nuts and seeds, all fresh stuff. But you see, I didn't mention any of that. I didn't mention and you have this at the grocery store. You can make a burger out of this. You can make this. Oh, and in the frozen section, they have this good plant-based food. I'm talking about whole plant foods, stuff that's just actual food, not a lot of packaging and minimal processing. And if you just really just eat, satisfy your hunger and not overeat, it's as simple as that. But it's not as simple as that, is it? Not for everybody, because we do have, for some reason, the human body has adapted on this earth. I think we are the only species on this earth that has some sort of, we are different to a certain degree. Like if you take lions, dogs, gorillas, chimpanzees, whatever, you don't really see a lot of overweight ones unless they're domesticated or kept, somewhere outside of their natural habitat, except for humans. All the other species eat a certain diet. They look a certain way, or they are a certain size, and that's it. But there does seem to be a little bit more wiggle room with humans. And also, too, sometimes people, the minute you start trying to throw out some solutions for losing weight, they just start shooting them down. Well, I can't do this because of that, and I don't like this, and my body won't tolerate that. Let me tell you something. The hell with all these self-diagnoses. Unless you've had somebody diagnose you, say, with Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, I'm not talking about you think you are, I'm talking about somebody that has said you have an eating addiction, or you have thyroid conditions or hormone conditions. Stop just throwing that out there. If you think you have something like that, go deal with it. Go see your doctor, go see your endocrinologist. If you think you have a true eating addiction, go to a therapist. Go get that's behavioral right there. That is something that you don't need to just be going into social media or watching YouTube videos before. But for the rest, it's pretty simple. Eat a whole food, plant-based diet. keep it balanced. Try to get as much variety in there as possible. The legumes. That's why I'm always talking about the legumes, and I have probably, like I say, I probably have 7 or 8 servings a day. That fiber in there. That's something else about the fiber. The fiber fills you up. So if you eat foods that are high in fiber, they're going to fill you up, and you don't have that space in there that's just constantly craving a bunch of stuff like sugar and whatever. You know, I heard a little fun fact on sugar recently. Like, the reason you can just eat sugar over and over is it has no nutrition to it. So it doesn't actually satisfy certain things that you need, and you can just kind of eat it over and over and over and over. That's why it's kind of white, and it's sort of addictive like another substance that you can think of. But yeah, I would say just like eat balanced meals throughout the day. Get variety. Eat a lot of fresh food. One thing I will tell you though, within those parameters, if you and get a scale. Don't be afraid of your scale. Get on your scale 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. Get a little feedback from there. See if what you're doing. And you don't have to panic if you're not losing weight, or if, God forbid, you put a few extra pounds on. Just cut back a little bit. And I don't mean restrict. I'm just saying, if what you're eating today, the scale's not moving, drop 200 or 300 calories from that. See what happens. Take out 3 bananas. Take out whatever. Some other strategies for when you're trying to lose weight is maybe more so with the legumes, more so with the salads, more so with the greens, the vegetables, the fruits, and a little bit less so with the fats, with the grains, with other starches. Like I say, I kind of keep my weight stays at a pretty steady 165, anywhere 165, 167, 8. And sometimes I will, let's say I have a couple of days where I'm maybe making food for this, or whether I'm eating, and I'm like, oh, I got on the scale a little heavy for a couple of days, heavier than I like. I cut back for a couple of days. Maybe tomorrow I don't have grains. Maybe I don't have a sweet potato. Maybe instead I just have my legumes with some with some greens or with some vegetables or whatever. But just play with that a little bit, if you're trying to lose that weight too, I would say don't be very heavy. Maybe cut back a little bit on those nuts and seeds. But you still need that stuff. You still need everything that you're eating. You need that variety to get the nutrients that we need to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing right there. Is, like I say, when I started trying to get healthy, eating plant-based, just trying to change my outlook on how I took care of myself 13 years ago, there was even though I was a little bit chubby at that time, before I actually went plant-based, I had kind of started doing a lead up to plant-based. Like, I was eating a lot more plants, I was eating a lot less animal products. I wasn't even really thinking about plant-based at the time, but I was sort of kind of doing a transition. And I started getting healthy, and I lost the weight that I needed to before I went vegan, went plant-based. So I didn't really need to, but yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. You've got to get that through your head. Think of all the diets you've done in your life. There's been the South Beaches and the Mediterraneans and the Atkins and the Scarsdale and this and that. You might even have a bookshelf with 3 or 4 or 5 diets on there. But it's always going to just be straightforward nutrition. It's fairly easy to do. It's just about eating the right things and not eating too much of certain things. So, try to, maybe when you're trying to lose weight, just ease off of some of those things like the fats and whatever. But don't get rid of them whatsoever. We need good, healthy fat in our life. But anyhow, just rambling a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, hit it now, and have a great weekend. Peace.